But before we get this meeting started, I'm going to ask Deacon Pickett to give us a little prayer. Timmy?
Let us pray. Most gracious and heavenly Father, we come at this time with bowed heads and humble hearts. Father, we're taking just another opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for this beautiful day that you've allowed us to see, Father. Not only did you allow us to see it, Father, you've kept us safely up and down the dangerous highways all day. And for that, we just want to say thank you. Father, we come thanking you for this gathering, this meeting this evening, Father. Thank you for the citizens who have come out this evening, Father. Not only to learn, but to get to express their complaints or whatever situations they're going through. We just ask you to bless this community, Father. Bless the leadership up here in this community, Father. We just thank you for all the leaders up here in Northeast Madison County. We thank you for the vendors here, Energy, and all those guys who've come out. Mr. Stamps and all these guys, we just ask you to bless and keep them. And Father, let this meeting be successful and fruitful. And once we learn, let us go back into our communities and further spread the word of what has happened at this meeting. Bless in every situation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Deacon Pickett. Let me get it before we get started. Give a few rules, regulations on how we're going to try to conduct this meeting. We want to be courteous to everyone, and we want everyone to get their question answered. So if you ask a question and you got 3 of them, let someone else get their question answered, then come back to you, because some people have to go to work. They want to get all the knowledge and all the answers to their question that they can. In other words, don't bogart to ask another question. Let someone else ask a question, and then you ask another one. And you might not get your answer tonight. That's the reason it's so important that you sign in, put your name, address, or email address, phone number, some way that you can be contacted. So if you don't get your answer tonight, I know sure these guys will get with you and get you your answer. And keep in mind, I got the same problem that you do. I live out in this country too. So what you feel, I feel. That's why it's so important to have this meeting, to let these guys know what we feeling or what we not feeling. So I prolong this meeting. I'm gonna get the man of the hour up here, and he's our elected public safety commissioner. And you might not know exactly what a public safety commissioner, what he do. It's 3 of them. Northern, Central, and Southern. Ours is the Central Public Service Commission. And his name is Mr. Stamps, and I'm finna turn this podium over to him and let him come to you in his own way. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing today? Well, it's definitely an honor to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. I want to apologize to you before we get started. When your supervisor first reached out to me, about a week, 2 weeks later, Andrea, we had a car accident, and I got kind of twisted around. But we're here to discuss issues that y'all elected me to help resolve. And because I'm just as furious at times as well, because of reliability issues and concerns with electrical issues across the state. To build on what the supervisor just said, the Public Service Commission is a 3-member body. We have a Northern, Central, and a Southern District Commission, and we regulate the investor-owned utilities in Mississippi, like Entergy, and in your case, Delta Utilities or Atmos or Mississippi Power. Those are the main utilities that we regulate across the state of Mississippi. And those utilities cover a lot of area. The Central District goes from Bolivar County down to Jefferson County and across to Lauderdale or Meridian. So basically from Cleveland to, you all right, Paul? I'm all right. Okay. I'll make sure he ain't fall down back there. But we basically go from Cleveland down to right before Natchez and over to Meridian and all the cities and counties in between. We have 95 mayors, 110 supervisors, and 1 million people who have issues with utilities. And that's why I was born in Jackson, and I grew up on my family farm down in Learned. And in Learned, just like here, the population of Learned, anybody know what Learned, Mississippi is? Y'all know what Learned is? That's the best steakhouse in all of Mississippi is Gibbs Steakhouse in Learned, Mississippi, if y'all don't know. But the population is only 108. It's just about as many folks in my hometown as in this room. And the reason I ran is because every time the rain comes, the lights go out, and anytime a cloud gets in the sky, we got issues with lights. So we ran for this position because we suffer from the same issue as many folks in this room suffer from. And it's two things that every utility or government entity needs to be successful. You need effective governance and economies of scale. Effective governance means that you have the folks who are in charge of regulating the utility, bringing the people who run the utility to the people who pay for the utility, and everybody got to work together to resolve the problems. Because your dollar that you spend in your light bill is just as important as Amazon's dollar. Just as important. And you should receive the same quality of service of anybody else's dollar that spends a dollar on the utilities. Now, what I focus on is making sure I lean hard. The president of Energy Mississippi has called me a very tough regulator. Well, I only got one thing. I got a hammer. And that's all I do is pull my hammer out and I lay down, this is what's supposed to happen. When people pay a bill, they're supposed to get a service, they're supposed to be able to rely on it. Because it's not like it was in the old days. See, back in Learned, we didn't even get running water until 1982. We still had a well in the backyard and had to pump it, and everybody from Big Mama to Baby Boy had to take a bath in a number 2 tub in the kitchen. So we were just happy to get water. We were just happy to get lights in the late 60s. But in 2026, we got to have lights. We got to have water. Well, first off, because we don't have no well in the backyard to get water from, or spring. And secondly, our lives have become so dependent on electricity that we got to have it. And it must be, no matter how reliable it is. So to address those issues, the way I look at getting the economies of scale, we must build more businesses in our area to help pay the bills because our population is aging. Younger people are leaving Mississippi, which leaves older people on fixed incomes left to shoulder the burden to pay the bills. So I said the two things you need to have an effective utility are effective governance and economies of scale. To achieve the economies of scale, you don't just need the residential ratepayer to pay the bill. We need to recruit more businesses in an area so that businesses can shoulder the burden of paying the bill. In essence, why we set a goal of creating $100 billion of economic development and creating 100,000 jobs. And since we've been elected to the state level, I know that sounds like a lot, but we got elected in 2020 to the state. And since then, we've created about $66 billion of economic development. And that economic development helps to defray the cost that you would have to pay as a homeowner on your residential light bill because you have more money flowing into the utility as our population declines. And so that's why when you see me focusing a lot on economic development and building businesses, because if I don't do that, the only place to get money from to pay for the electrical needs of the state of Mississippi is from you. And that's why you got Amazon in your backyard. Now, many people have a concern about data centers. Well, I'm gonna give you the facts. Amazon in Mississippi is regulated by myself and 2 other commissioners who've put rules in place that their usage will not come out of your pocket. They pay for their own power generation and the transmission of that power to their facility, and that money does not come out of your pocket. But some of the money that they pay for their light bill, goes into reliability. And we have negotiated $60 million a year for the next 5 years of their resources will go towards the Superpower Mississippi program, and that program is designed to focus on reliability, buying light poles, power lines, transformers to put in the service area, because it is not right for people to see a business in their backyard and that business have a guaranteed reliability of power of almost 100% of the time, but the people outside the area do not experience the same reliability. So those extra resources from those facilities are in place to put more resources into the grid around the area. And the other thing that people are focused on beyond the power consumption is the water. Now, the first conversation about a data center in Mississippi was when I was on the Jackson City Council. Many of you know me from being on the Jackson City Council, and one of the things that we focused on in 2014 was the city of Jackson was putting 25 million gallons of raw sewage into the Pearl River every day. And we were in a conference, myself and former Mayor Yarber, and they were talking about data centers and how much water they use. I said, well, does the water have to be clean? And they were like, no. And so we started talking about putting a data center and plugging it into the sewer system, because Jackson still has a water problem. And if we had plugged the data center into the sewer system and then let them buy the sewer water, then we would have to just shift our resources and pay for the fresh water, because we have a customer to pay for the sewer, and then the residents' water bill will go down because the residents wouldn't have to pay for so much sewer. That didn't happen in Jackson for many different reasons, but when we got elected to the state level, Amazon gets a portion of, well, a large portion of their water on the side of this side of Madison County from the Beatty's Bluff water sewer treatment plant, so that it can defray costs that people pay for sewer. I'm a firm believer that data centers should not be allowed to dig a well into our aquifer. They should purchase the sewer water so that we can all see a mutual benefit from them purchasing water in our state, and have them purchase water that we obviously don't want because we flushed it down our toilet. And then they can pay to clean it, and then they can use that water to cool the facility. And so those are the 2 major issues that people talk about when it comes to data centers. And the other issue about data centers is I'm not a supervisor, and the supervisors can speak to this portion more so than me. I just focus on making money and saving money. And with my 110 supervisors, and supervisor here is one of those 110, Madison County, from what I see, may not ever have to raise their taxes again because of the resources that they're receiving from that facility that's in Madison County. I want to leave you with the notion, and this is what I think your stance should be. You represent 1/5 of Madison County. So the resources, the several millions of dollars a year that are received from the tax revenue of Madison County should go to your district. Let me say that again. Your slice of the pie that Madison County receives, and I'll get that number, I'll look it up while he's talking and get you the accurate number of what you're gonna be receiving from Entergy when I sit down, I look at my computer. But your slice of that pie should go to your district. That's one of the major battles that your supervisor is gonna be charged with, slicing the pie. I just deliver the pie. They slice it. When they slice the pie, a portion of that slice must go towards right-of-way clearing. Bad, unkept right-of-ways harm the serviceability of your roads. When storms and ice season happen, the ice stays on the road because the road is shaded. If the road is not shaded, the sun hits the road, ice leaves the road. Also, if the road's shaded, the water goes off and your road lasts longer. But when it comes to reliability, the majority of the trees that fall on power lines are not in Entergy's right-of-way. They're in the right-of-way that's outside of that area that money can go towards solving. So I know I covered several things, but I wanted to give you an overview of what we do and how major money is flowing into this county. This county, it will be receiving major resources from the decisions that we've made. And this community needs to have their slice of the pie. And then the slice of the pie, I suggest, should be invested in building your public works department for your county so that you don't have to hire so many contractors, and your supervisor and your road manager and the crews that are in place can get more work done faster and maintain your community more effectively. Now, when it comes to the reliability of Entergy, and Mr. Fasackley has many times called me a tough regulator because, and I told him there's only one reason why I'm a tough regulator. Because I come up the rough side of the mountain. I'm the only person in state government, well, myself and Commissioner Simmons, he was a school teacher and walked his way up through the Senate and came up. We're the only ones that came from local government and have become basically statewide elected officials. We didn't just get elected at the top level. We scratched and clawed to get to where we are to represent folks that are at the lower level. Because we know the pain that people face. We've been on folks' front porch. We understand how supervisors and city council people have problems that they can't solve, and they don't have the money to fix it. And so the decisions that myself and Commissioner Simmons make are designed to put more money into local government's hands and then help guide them to fix problems at the local level so that fix issues at the local level so that they don't become problems at the high level. My last comment before I bring Entergy up is we have to give the linemen and folks a lot of credit for the work that has just been done. Winter Storm Fern will go down in history as 10 times worse than Hurricane Katrina. Let me say that again. Winter Storm Fern will go down in history as being 10 times as bad as Hurricane Katrina. So whatever you thought Hurricane Katrina was and the devastating impacts it was to the state of Mississippi. From Texas to Virginia, there were 1 million people without power. In Mississippi, there was upwards of 200,000 people without power, and they told us in the beginning that it may take up to 3 months to get folks' power back on. When I rolled through the Delta, and I was coming through Rolling Fork, and you go to the Delta, you see all the all the corn fields and soybean fields, you saw nothing but down power lines everywhere. The cold weather has snapped them all. But luckily, not luckily, blessed for the folks in Rolling Fork and Myersville, they've never seen a commissioner roll in with 7 18-wheelers of light poles behind them, dropping off light poles. Well, that's because they vote for me. And I told them, I said, don't send them light poles nowhere else. You can send them right over here and right over there and right, I know exactly where you need to send them. You can't drive up 55 anyway, the road closed. So you might as well send all them light poles over here and over there until they fix the road. Now, I don't tell them what house to fix first, because even today, my lights go out all the time out in rural Hinds County. But I tell them, let's work a plan where we can walk through these issues and make the system more reliable on an annual basis and report back to the people. So tonight's meeting is designed for them to give you an overview of the decisions they're making, why they're making them, and what's happening in your area. Then we're gonna listen to the concerns you have and incorporate those things into their plan, and then report back to you on a periodic basis on the upgrades that are being made throughout the service area in your district. So this first meeting is for you to get to know the people who make the decisions for Entergy in your area, and to tell you about what they're doing in your area, and then everybody will, people will raise their hand and we'll hear issues that you have. The video is being live streamed on YouTube, so if you don't feel like taking notes, you can go back and watch the video. We're gonna take the video and go back and be able to log in issues and concerns, match it with the sign-in sheet, so that when you address your issue, if your name is on the sign-in sheet with legible address and legible phone number and legible email address, then we will be able to contact you as we move forward. So at this juncture, we're going to open up for questions after the utility company speaks. So at this juncture, I want to introduce Mr. Chad Reynolds from Entergy, Mississippi. Chad's been working with us hand in hand. We've been in office 2 years now, and so he's been working with us hand in hand to help deliver reliability across the state of Mississippi. Mr. Chad Reynolds.
One thing while Chad coming up, anybody need to use the restroom, is right through this door right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stamps. Thank you all for inviting us here today. My name, Chad Reynolds. I'm in the regulatory group for Entergy Mississippi, and as Commissioner Stamps said, I've got to know him really well over the last 2 years, and one of his initial charges was, I want you to start working on a reliability plan. And we have been having those discussions, and we sat down with him in the fall of last year, and what he mentioned is, heard of, is we're calling Superpower Mississippi. And it's a reliability plan at minimum over the next 5 years through 2030. That's just our planning horizon. This can be expanded on after that as well. And what is involved in that is similar to what the commissioner said, is we're doing two parts here. One is we're taking, with all the technology and all the data we can get now, we're taking all the data, all the outage data, all the data we get related to performances of all the different devices on our system. We're taking all of that and we are breaking it into small incremental quadrants of our entire service area. And for there, we can see, okay, where are the needs that need to be met and start working on the solution. So that's one piece of it. The second piece is part of why we're here today is receiving that feedback from the community, from what the commissioner receives from complaints to his office, and taking those together and putting together a plan each year. And so this is 2026 is the transition phase of the plan. We're implementing it this year, and then we'll continue on, like I said, through 2030. And as he mentioned, we have been sitting down with him, working through that, had a briefing with him of what was planned for 2026, and we will continue along with that. As far as specifics for this area, we've got actually two other Entergy employees here. Adam Willoughby is in the distribution reliability group, so he's one that is working this plan as far as both the development of it and seeing the execution of it. And then we've got Sandra Powell, who is the customer service manager for this area. And so she's here as well to hear back from you all. And so y'all have heard me speak enough. I'll give Adam an opportunity just to let you know of what he's seen in this area, what current projects are being worked on, and then we will listen to you all as far as plans for the future. I do want to add one other piece, as we mentioned about the plan. It's not just poles and wires, it's also the vegetation piece as well. So continuing that systematic plan of, as far as any limbs that are overhanging over our lines, or if we identify danger trees, those that look diseased or distressed, and if they were to fall, could impact the line, that is being all brought in together for a holistic approach for your area and all other areas, both from, again, a poles, wires, device perspective, as well as from a vegetation management perspective. With that.
All right, good evening. Thank you, Chad, Commissioner Stamps, appreciate it. I just kind of wanted to just outline a little bit of what my group does. You see service guys out on the road in bucket trucks. You see the crew guys out on the road fixing everything. And so when they fix outages, they're in a computer, and they tell us on that computer what caused the outage. They'll say whether it was a tree, whether it was a car that hit a pole, whether it was a logger cutting down trees. So they're putting all that information in, and my team, we get that information, and we look at trends. We kind of see, okay, where are we having equipment issues? Where's our equipment failing? Where's our cross arms failing? Where is trees getting into us? And so we look at all that data, and we figure out, okay, where do we need to do work? Where do we need to do reliability work, planned work that affects blue sky day, power on a blue sky day? And so what we do, we take that, and then we get it, we go inspect it. I have a team of inspectors. They go out, they do the inspections, they bring back information about what we need to correct, how we need to fix issues regarding lightning. Sometimes it's evidence of lightning, and we can space things out differently to help that. And so we'll take that data, and one of the things that we're getting to do this year that it's just, you've heard with the Superpower Mississippi, we're getting to do a lot more with with some of the resources like Commissioner Stamps talked about that we've not had as much of before. And so, this increase over the next 5 years is really opening the door to be able to do a lot more things than we've done in the past. And so, looking at you guys' area, y'all, so you're fed from the Pickens substation. You got a Canton substation that feeds into this area from the south, Pickens from the north. And so if you look at the outage data, about 70% of the outages that you've experienced since 2023 are the outside right-of-way trees and the overhanging limbs. Now, the drought of 2023 we're tired. We still seeing trees standing that are dead. And we have a cycle trim program where we go touch all of the circuits in our jurisdiction. It's usually every 4 to 6 years. We go do cycle trimming, and we just trim the right of ways. And in this case, for the folks that are fed from Pickens, and I say down 17, Rocky Hill North, Rocky Hill South, on down 17 before you get to 43, all that area is being cycle trimmed this year. So they've already started that this year, and we'll be continuing on cycle trim this year. Last year, one of the things that we're able to do is we look at, our vegetation department looks at, okay, what are the worst of the worst vegetation problems on our circuits in Mississippi? And so they take that list and they say, okay, Next year, we're gonna go focus and we're gonna go find. And so in 2025, the Camden Circuit hit the list, okay? We, through inspections, they began, and this doesn't drop a penny in the bucket, but they inspected all the trees on the circuit where we were having trouble, one of the worst circuits, and as far as vegetation goes, and they cut down over 300 trees on that circuit that were at the edge of the right-of-way, at the dead. Some of these trees we can't touch because they're outside of our right-of-way. So we're cutting some of those danger trees, and then, and as well, this year, 2026, it's back on the list again. So we will be patrolling again, looking for those danger trees. The danger trees is the trees that are gonna affect our line, the trees that are dropping limbs that are gonna affect our power, the power, and identify trees to go tackle. So 15 to 20% of our outages, of your outages in this area are controllable. I say that. Cross-arm failures, equipment failures, insulators, lightning, that kind of thing. About 5% are human induced. Talk about vehicles, talk about loggers, different folks that, for whatever reason, the accident happens, it interrupts power. And then about 5% of the power is scheduled interruptions. Well, the scheduled interruptions typically mean that's when we're doing work on those lines. And so what happens then when we're doing scheduled interruptions, we send a notification out to the folks that are going to be affected by that interruption, and either leave a message or voicemail or however you choose to set up with communicating with us, and give that information to know when you're going to be out and how long, that kind of thing. I think the last thing I was going to touch on, we got a couple of reliability jobs that are in queue right now. We're finishing up designs on the Rocky Hill North up Mullenville. Is that right? Did you say it? Up Mullenville Road. I believe Kane and Hines Road up there. We've got a pretty significant, pretty big reliability job that we're finishing up that will be worked this year up that way. And then we've got Chad and Commissioner Stamps was talking about these geographical areas where we've identified work. So another geographical area that we're going to begin tackling, they're fixing to release our Q3, Q4 list to us. And so that reliability plan does involve the circuit out of Pickens. We also have currently for this year a circuit out of Canton, where we're doing some work on that circuit too, that's feeding into the south part of this area. So a couple of things that are going to be real impactful, and I hope you can see the benefits of it. I want to see the benefits of it. I don't want your lights to go out. I want your service to be reliable, and best we can do to bring up issues that you have that we may need to inspect. That's why we're here. We want to know about those specific issues. If it's just one little tap that's got 15 dead trees around it, I don't know that we can do anything. We may not, but we'll be able to at least have the conversation and talk about it. So, all right, who's next?
Would you like to say a few words, ma'am? Come on up. Come on up. She's in charge of the customer relations in your area.
Okay, good. Thank you, Commissioner.
Nice to see you again.
Supervisor. I'm Sandy Powlett, and I am our customer service manager for this area. So I, like Adam, am glad to be here, glad to hear your questions, your concerns, and be a part of answering those if it's something we can address this evening, I'm available and we'll follow up with you after the meeting. So thank you for having us.
And give them a round of applause, please. Now, next we're going to roll over and start to hear from you some issues that you have. We're going to take these issues down, and each one of them is no issue more important than anybody else's issue. Everybody who has an issue, they got an issue that's on their heart because they pay a bill for something that they don't receive in the way they think they should receive it. And so as we log these things down, I can tell you this. In 7 months, we will be back in this same room with you who come back, and hopefully you can see and feel some of the upgrades that have been made between then, and we'll make sure we're continually communicating in this room directly to you with the concerns you give us. Is that fair enough? All right, so Supervisor, you can lead the way on folks asking questions, and we will try to address what we can today and log in those questions that we cannot return to.
All right. Remember, let's be polite. When someone asks them the question, be quiet, listen. If you don't want to listen, go on the outside. If you don't be polite, where you at, Mr. Jones? Albert Jones? There he is back at the back. If you don't be polite, I'm gonna have him escort you out.
We'll be fine.
So let's be fine. So, and when you get ready to ask your question, you don't have to give your address, but tell us what road you live on. Right here, Mr. Sutherland.
See, that's my name. Sulphur, Isaac. I live on Lauren Road, intersect Rocky Hill. I would call about sunny day, 75 degrees, 80 degrees. Sometimes we had to wait 2 or 3 days to get it back on. But I understand he addressed my issue was tree limbs. And I had asked my brother, I moved here out of Illinois, and I asked him, I said, why these guys don't do preventive maintenance on these trees? The guy told him, we wait till it break, then we fix it. That's not a solution. That's putting a Band-Aid on the problem,
Yeah.
but they did address the issue that they are working in our area now. But my other question is that we've been using wood poles back in the western days, 200 years. Is there any other kind of poles or composite material that we can use, like that they won't snap under the weight? Because you ride down Laura Road, you see poles laying like this. Now,
Everywhere.
can we address those, or we gonna wait till the problem happens before we address it? Now we got customers losing food, you know, you got people on oxygen, you know, that's a problem out in the country. So I don't wanna take up too much time, but those
I think you got that one wrote down, or you got an answer for it.
I did want to mention, and I forgot to mention this, I need to get over there.
Yeah.
Y'all hear me? Okay.
You come on.
Y'all hear?
Wood poles is a standard that we use, and the composite poles, the steel poles are much more expensive. You know. We do have a pole program, so we do go inspect all the poles every 10 years. So every 10 years, and actually, for the Pickens circuit that comes down 17, that's in 2027. So there's gonna be a team of people that come dig around these poles, measure, take measurements, look, feel, prod, all that kind of stuff. And what they'll do is they'll turn it into us and they'll say, okay, can we treat it? Can we truss it? Do we need to replace it? What is the life of that pole? You know, how much life does it have left? And then we have a pole program that we do those 3 things. We treat, we truss, or we replace it. And then that pole will be replaced based on their recommendation within 6 to 8 months after they inspect. So you will begin to see inspectors in 2027. I did not check on the Canton circuits on when we're doing those next or when they were done last. So we can check on that. So thank you for that.
Mr. Bill Brew?
Yeah, Robert Bill Brew Road. You mentioned when you're trimming the trees, that if you see dead trees that are not in the right of way, you leave those trees. Do you have a process where you identify those trees, then go back and try to contact the owners or whoever to take care of those dead trees? Because with all the dead pine trees, there's gotta be cleanup out there.
Yeah, so we mostly are identifying the trees that are, if they're gonna affect the line, we're identifying them. And it's one of those things like, well, is the limb far enough over to hit the line? Or is it gonna be like if it's gonna be a wind that's gonna make the whole thing fall? You know, possibility. So we do identify those trees as far as contacting the homeowner to tell them that to go to deal with it or not deal with it. I do not believe that we're not contacting homeowners about dead trees on their property. But you know, I think I think a lot of times it happens kind of the other way around. It's like somebody sees a dead tree on their property and they call us and say, hey, you know, I'm scared about this tree. What will y'all cut it? What can you do with it? And we'll come out and see potentially what we think, what it needs to be done with it, or if you know, try to either ease that or either mention that it would be your responsibility, one or the other.
But do you document it and put it in the system?
It's just like church. You can just tell the truth, man. It's fine. I ain't gonna beat you up. I ain't gonna beat you up, man. Hey, you don't go wrong with throwing strikes. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll leave door hangers on some of that stuff, but like there's not one database that has all of that from, because we'll go identify something on inspection and mark it on our map, but if a customer calls in, they don't have the same app or tools to go when they go look at it, so, you know, I don't think there's a great answer there. It's not all in one place.
And to go a little deeper into the tree trimming portion, the reason why I spoke about right-of-way maintenance at the supervisor level and you getting your slice of that money pie, when your supervisors are able to trim the trees, one of the issues that the linemen have is when you have outages, the trees fall in the road. And they got to cut trees, they got to clear a pathway to get to the problem. I want them going to solve the problem. If the trees are trimmed going down the right of way, when a tree falls, it falls that way, not this way. So that's why overhanging limbs on roads cause problems. But if your supervisor don't get his slice of the pie, he can't turn around and trim the roads. So the linemen, during the ice storm, we realized that these linemen spend half the time clearing the road to get to the problem, which means by the time they get to the problem, if they've been sawing trees to get to the problem, when they get to the problem, they're already tired. So we can help them at the local level by effective right-of-way management, and then they can get lights on faster. Because the same guy that has to trim the road, clean the road off, if the road was clear in the first place, then he can go directly to the problem, and then your lights can get cut on faster. So that's a long answer to a short question. But no, they do not log down every dead tree that's outside the right-of-way. Because if it's in my meeting, I don't want anybody to say we skirted around answering any question.
And just to say a little about your piece of the pie for District 5. We've been getting our piece of the pie. Over the last 3 years, you've probably been seeing a piece of equipment out there that cut no limbs back. This last budget, we got another one put in the budget. But the only thing about it, they didn't give us enough money to man the piece of equipment. So that's all right, we're gonna work with that. We get the piece of equipment, we'll find some way to get some manpower on it to man both of those pieces of equipment that cutting back those limbs, what the commissioner is talking about. Mr. Henry, Miss Henry.
Evelyn Henry Way Road, Davis Crossing Road. and what portion belongs to the individual?
Different roads, it's different right of way. It's hard. It'll have to be individual roads. The old saying, I think, is saying, and don't put no true on to this, if from the center line to 25 feet, I think, over, belongs to the county. That's the old saying. But now, each individual road, we'll have to go out there and determine what's the right of way. Who was that way back there?
Mel Brooks, Highway 16 East. A lot of discussion hasn't really been pointed towards the data center, and I'm glad to hear about their usage, that they can use the sewage. I'm glad to hear that, because I thought it was gonna be all fresh water being used to cool those down, so glad to hear that. But as far as sky pollution that comes off of the centers and their usage, how will that be monitored and maintained within the next 5 years or so?
Just so I can understand, when you say sky pollution, what do you mean?
The smoke and the fumes, yeah, the fumes that come from.
Air pollution.
Air pollution. Oh, air pollution. Okay. 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 All right. So, the data center that is in Madison County does not burn any fuel. So there's no fume. Now, a portion of the power that is used to produce, or the way it's produced, is produced at a natural gas fired plant. One in Vicksburg, one in Greenville, well, one in Vicksburg is being constructed out by the river, one in Greenville, and so those production facilities are natural gas fired facilities. What is changing with those two energy production plants is they are 40% more efficient. So they use 40% less fuel, and they're already pre-equipped to use carbon capture before that technology even is at a point to use it. And they're already prepared to use hydrogen, even though that technology isn't prepared to be used yet. When it is developed to be able to be used, those facilities can run off hydrogen. But they're natural gas fired plants, but also we were able to use a portion of our time to take energy from Grand Gulf. When Grand Gulf was put in place, it was a partnership between Mississippi and Louisiana. A portion of the power that's produced at Grand Gulf was sent to Louisiana. We took resources and pulled resources from Louisiana through an agreement that we made. It took about 1.5 years or so to get that agreement done. Now we're using, is it 200 megawatts?
200 additional.
Right. 200 megawatts of power from the state of Louisiana is being used in Mississippi. So that nuclear power has no fumes, and it's a part of the facility that's in Mississippi. So even though data centers, which may be ineffectively governed in other states, are more effectively governed, I'm not saying we're perfect, are more effectively regulated and governed here in Mississippi because we made some decisions to do it differently than other states, because I didn't want the same problems that other people have with data centers to happen in my state.
All right.
And now to clarify, your supervisor has been fighting for your slice of the pie. There's more pie coming. So I don't want to seem like he has not been getting what he deserved. I don't think he has, but he's fighting as much as he can get. But there's more pie coming, and he needs more slices of the pie in the future.
I want at least half of the pie. Reverend Fleming.
Yes, Reverend Paul Fleming, Long Road. I got a couple questions. I want to ask a couple questions. Number one, speaking of the right of way, I've had a couple trees that have been sparkling up with, it's so right on the line, but it's off the road. And I had Entry come out and take a look at it, and they told me pretty much there was nothing they could do. They had to wait till the tree fall. In order for them to do something, you had to wait for the tree to fall. It's their exact words. And I was a little concerned about that because my thing was if I could see fire sparkling, somebody needs to be doing some maintenance before the tree falls. I live on Long Road, same this brother said here. It'll be sunny outside, and 2-3 days we go without electricity. We're losing food. It's hot. Elderly folks in 100-degree weather and a house trying to make it. That's not good. We got to do something. The other thing I'm concerned about is this right here. With this ice storm, we went about 4 days without electricity. And I've been polling a lot of folks in my area, and my wife called me and said, "Have you seen our electric bill?" I said, "No, I haven't seen my electric bill." She said, "You know, our bill really went up by $200. So I got on Facebook and started looking around, and other people complaining that their bills went up as well. 4 days to me, I mean, I'm not an engineer, but 4 days without electricity, my bill should not be going up. No $200 or $100. Consider I went 4 days and lost food without electricity. So I think somebody can look into that and find out what's going on. Because we didn't have no electricity. Now we got to pay more money with our bills. Something needs to be adjusted. We need to be given some type of compensation for our, and we appreciate everything y'all did to get the light back on because it's cold. But at the end of the day, our bills should not be going up.
Thank you. Is that something y'all have heard before? Do y'all have an answer to it, or do you want to get back?
I think it would be helpful to, see specifically for this gentleman, but I think there can be sometimes as far as, when.
Can y'all hear?
I'm sorry, can y'all hear? I need to speak up. I'm sorry. There is a time where the timing related to the bill versus the usage, and that's why we need to get specifics for yours, but if the bill came in this month in February, that is looking at your January usage.
Okay.
And so that may be part of the issue there. We'll just have to see exactly on yours, but you can have that issue sometimes where it's, well, why is it so much higher? And then based on the timing, well, it was a month prior, and if it was really cold that month, or in the summer, really hot month. So sometimes there's a timing issue related to that. One other piece that may be part of it as well is what we have in every utility has this in rates. It's called a fuel adjustment clause. All that means is it's the cost that we pay for the fuel to operate our power plants, primarily natural gas. And that was one where it gets updated annually, and we did have to make an adjustment on that because natural gas prices are going up, so that could be part of it too. But that's just some generalities, and we can get with you and discuss specifically about that.
And they got a lot of other people as well. I'm a whole lot of folks talking about it. Whole lot.
Since he got the question, I'm gonna ask my question now. That been called in to me on people that losing things in their freezer and their refrigerator because of their power is out. How can y'all simplify that request to respond back to that citizen on getting them reimbursed? In other words, getting that voicemail and a long stretched out message and never getting the person to tell that I lost 4 turkeys and 2 hams and some fish.
Yes, sir.
How can you simplify that for the consumers?
That's one we need to take back from the concern that you all have said here, and we need to.
Who had that problem out here?
I'm sure there's a lot of hands.
Yeah. So that's the issue there we're working on. All right.
That's the young lady right here.
Mr. Patrick,
Okay,
we'll get you next, Miss Southern.
Patrick Conway, Highway 43. And we're talking about usage, and I have a question as to say, is there a way to save on your electricity bill? Here's my question. I have an outlet in the house. I have a lamp plugged into it, but I'm not using it. I have a TV in a room I'm not using it. I have a microwave plugged in. I can see being charged because of the clock. But my question is, if anything is plugged into an outlet, are we being charged?
Yeah.
Even with my lamp and bulb.
Go ahead. Public Service Commission, go ahead.
All right?
Thank you.
Now,
You struck a nerve, Patrick.
you struck a nerve. Especially with me. In my house, I had to enforce grandmama rules. This is what I call grandmama rules. Don't stay in the refrigerator trying to figure out what you're gonna get out of it. If you ain't in the room, cut the light off. Now I got 3 daughters, and I love my daughters to death. Their name is Love, Hope, and Faith. And they walk around the house in the summertime with the air conditioner on 50, with some shorts on with a blanket on. When I'm gonna have to sit a lock on my thermostat and leave my thermostat at 75 and don't touch it. Energy, you get charged for the energy you consume. So what I did, I plugged everything in my house up to a surge protector. When I go to bed at night, I don't just cut the TV off, I press the button. Because that whole entertainment center is still sucking power. When you leave going to work in the daytime, you ain't gotta unplug it. If it's on the surge protector, you just press the button. So that now I reduce my usage and I invested in energy efficiency inside the house. But the first thing I invested in is grandmama rules. And so the other balance to that is making good decisions on the utility side through the regulation of the utility. So those are the 2 things of how to address your problem, from how you govern it and to how you use it.
Thank you very much.
Because they're in the business of selling power. Okay? All right? But the more you save, the less they got to produce, which means the less your bill will be. Second thing on the issue of power. And the reason why I'm a supporter of more nuclear power, because 76% of the power in the state of Mississippi is produced from a natural gas-fired source. What that means is, every time gas prices go up, your light bill go up. But the more nuclear we can do is stable and it stay consistent. So, but I can't charge, oh, I could, but I'm not gonna charge you to build a nuclear power plant. I got to build more businesses in Mississippi to get them to help shoulder the burden of more nuclear so your light bill can stay more stable. Does that make sense? All right.
If I can just add just one thing to that, we do have energy efficiency programs, and sir, one of them that I recommend the most, because again, it is free of charge. It's called a READI audit, R-E-A-D-I. And
write that down.
R-E-A-D-I, you can go on our website and you can sign up for that, and a licensed professional will come and assess your home and look at everything, whether it's windows, insulation, all those types of things, and they will leave you with a printout that has recommendations. We have other programs as well, as far as HVAC tune-ups and things such as that. But that READI audit is really helpful of just seeing, okay, here's some things potentially to work on as far as if you want to make your home more efficient.
All right. Got a question way back in the back. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You be next. Hold on. Let me get this lady here. I told you she'll be there.
Okay, finally got me. My name is Christine Sulphur, National Working, and my husband and I just moved back here, say about 4 years ago from Georgia. And just to reiterate what the Reverend Fleming, I think his name,
Yes, ma'am.
was talking about compensation for food. I know when we were in Georgia and we lost power for like 4 days, they did compensate us for the loss of our food. So I know it's possible. But my question is, because we're in a rural area, do you update the transformers? Because that could be a serious issue where a lot of people will lose power often, is the transformer. Because when we moved here, the transformer could not hold the power outage for the home. So, once they updated it, then it was better. And now that I see you cutting back trees on Stump Ridge Road, that's where we live, I'm seeing a big difference in the lights going out as often as they was before. So I really appreciate that.
Right, thank you for that. So a couple of things that I'll mention about transformers themselves. With the meter data that we're getting now, with these communicating meters, we're able to tell the voltage that these transformers are putting out. And so once a week, my team looks at where are the, so when a transformer is about to fail, it starts putting out higher voltage. And so we can look at these transformers across the state and say, okay, all these transformers are 10% higher than they should be. And so what's happening is we'll make a ticket for a serviceman to go out and check it. And sometimes what happens is they make and fix a connection. Sometimes we do have to replace the transformer. And so that is something that has just started with, actually it started, I believe in July, August of last year. We began getting all this data and being able to proactively replace transformers before they actually fail. The other thing that I would caution you about is, so when that transformer was put on that pole, it was put there to serve a house or to serve a load. And let's just say in 1982 or 85, whenever it was installed, that transformer was serving one house, okay? Now let's just say, well, maybe, over the last 20, 30 years, I've had somebody move in, somebody else move in, somebody else move in, and now they're all being fed off that transformer. And so they would not have necessarily called us to say, hey, I'm moving in, do we need to upgrade that transformer? They put their meter pole up or they put their weatherhead on the house and said, okay, we're ready for service. We went and put service to them, and now we have another load that we didn't have earlier. So I would say if that's your case, if there's a situation where you got, it used to be one house when it was built, when it was put there, and now it's 3 or 4, we probably need to do a load study. Call us and get an engineer out there to do a load study and make sure it's adequate to serve. So.
And since you hit that on the head, my house, I just had a deal, people that they put the power on there back in February. I checked the voltage because I do electrical. I was getting 267, and it took them a year before they came out there and changed that. They just changed it last Saturday.
Okay.
I moved in February 25. So I called and told them that power was too much coming in, and nobody never got back to me.
Did they come check your meter, check your voltage at your meter?
They came out Friday of last week, checked it, and they did decide that it was putting out 270 volts.
Wow.
So they came out Saturday and changed it. So
Okay.
I'm good now.
Give me your address before we leave, if you don't mind.
Lady in the red back there.
What's that road again? What's that road again?
Grown William Road.
I did the due diligence going back on energy.com and checking all my bills. For this month, our light bill is $295.37. May, June, and July of 2024, our bill ranged from $98 to $104, hottest months of the year, and we run air conditioning. How in February is $295, and we run gas, we don't use.
Oh, hold on.
We have gas. We do not have an electric stove. We have a gas stove. We have gas heat. But our utility bill is $295. And from 7 in the morning until 4:30, Monday through Friday, me and my husband are not at home. And there's nobody else living there.
They need your address. Did you come up here and talk to them? Come on up and talk to them, man. Yeah, Mr. Douglas. Hold it down. Let's be courteous. Roy.
Highway 17. I want to know how can a bill go from $200 to $600? Are you guys reading bills or just guessing? Because just another house next to mine, his bill is $600, from $200 to $600 in 1 month. Here it is.
Come on right up here, Roy.
Let me address this.
Yeah.
All right, so, hold it down a second. I'm glad we saved this part to this part of the meeting. We had a chance to discuss some things. And the reason the room's still packed is because folks got that issue. All right, that's called a bill analysis. And we've changed the way we operate in my office. We used to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Now we work 7 days a week from 8 to 8. Bill analysis is probably one of the #1 issues that we deal with. That's when a bill analysis means that they look at your usage on your bill and give you a figure out what's going on with it, all right? And so that's what, when you sign a sign-in sheet, put beside it BA. That means bill analysis.
Tell them you got an extremely high bill.
If you got an extremely high bill, now don't give me, all right? And so that's how we will be able to better look at your issues, and then we can get your answer back to you. All right? Everybody got that answer? All right. Put a BA next to your name on the sign-in sheet. That will let our investigators know that we need to look at your bill to see what's going on. All right? Hold it down. We can sing together, we can't talk together, all right? All right, we're going to go to the next question. You done had a couple questions. Now,
Yeah, go to Miss Garrett next. All right. We coming next, Miss Garrett. Come on up here.
And I want to tell you what they told me. I called into the company, and the man looked at it, he said, oh, on January 31st, you used 300 and some uses over what you normally use, and nobody was at my house on January 31st. So I asked him, I said, is the meter wrong? He said, the meter's not wrong, my meter's right.
I believe so too. Talk to these guys up here. Mr. Brown. Yeah, young lady, yeah. Then you next, Mr. Brown. Let's speak loud where we can hear you. Come up closer. What road you live on? Okay. Robinson Road.
My bill went from 320 to 577. I'm hardly ever home. Nobody's in my house with me. I'm hardly ever home from morning to evening to 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I get fussed at because I don't be home.
All right, come on up here and leave your information.
It's doing something wrong. When I call and inquire about it, that tells me, compare my last year's bill and the year before bill to this year. How can you compare my bill this year to last year, the year before? Things in my household have changed. So you're gonna compare my bill from one year to the other. I asked about checking my meter, and they tell me if they come out and check it, and there ain't nothing wrong with it, then I got to pay for the fee. I told them no, because I'm paying for a service, and I'm asking for service, somebody to come out and check. You changed the meter on other houses around here. My meter hasn't been changed on my house in 30-some years. Old meters. And they won't come out and check it, won't bring me another meter. It's gone too far.
Yep, you need to come up and give your address now, name and address. Mr. Eddie Brown.
Hold on, before everybody just come up and get your name and address. The sign-in sheet is on the paper, on the table. Well, pass out, okay, on your way out, they up here, and we just make sure we annotate it. I wanna get to everybody's questions. We start having a line all over, then we won't get to everybody's questions.
Yeah. Eddie Brown.
Okay, I have the same issue, so I'm gonna go in and give them my name.
Oh,
That's why I said, if we, you know what, give me some fresh sign-in sheet. Everybody who get their bill looked at, put it on here, pass these out. Because I don't want to stop the meeting, because we'll be here all night.
yeah, yeah. All right, we move around. Let's move around quiet. Alvin Davis.
All right, at the top of that page, we just got put bill analysis on there, so we can start working on this, all right? But we got a little order.
Let's hold it down, guys. Give me that hammer.
Alvin Davis, Forest Club Road. With all the data centers coming in, on the infrastructure, is that gonna be on our grid, like in Texas, is that gonna be a factor on that sooner or later? Are we preparing for that 10 years or 20 years from now for our power grid?
When it comes to data centers in Mississippi, what we have done is require for every high-volume user, not just data centers, because data centers are not the highest volume users in Mississippi. Every high-volume user pays for their own generation and transmission to their facility, and none of the residential or regular commercial businesses offset the costs for those services. Raise your hand if you heard me say that tonight. Raise your hand if you heard me say that tonight. Yeah. Raise your hand if you heard me say that tonight. I want to make sure everybody heard me say it now. You are not paying for a data center's electrical needs. They are paying for their own electrical needs, but they're also paying property taxes that can help increase the quality of life and services to your community. All right.
Data centers is not going to have your light bill going up. That's what the Public Service Commission said.
I said, my question was, are we preparing for the grid in the future so we won't have no blackout? I think that's more my question.
You have a blackout because somebody in Texas ineffectively regulates their utilities, and they allow a data center to be put in a neighborhood, and the grid is not prepared for that volume of service. In Mississippi, data centers are paying for all the power that they need to be produced and the transmission to bring it to their facility. So whatever's happening at that data center, whatever power they are using, it is not affecting your grid, but the positive impact of your grid is the profits from that data center are used in a program called Superpower Mississippi, which is about $60 million a year, to buy transmission outside of that. So now they're paying for the upgrades you're asking for, and I won't have to raise your rates to put a transformer in your yard and put a transformer in your yard and so forth and so on. So I just want to make sure that's said for the how many times tonight?
Mm-hmm. We got it. Yes, Long Grade.
You got a question outside too, Paul.
Yeah, yeah. Hold it down, guys, or step outside.
Pat, look.
And for that program that you mentioned, sir, the Ready program, they did come to our home and they told us if we knew anyone else to give them their information. So I wrote down a lot of senior citizens that needed their homes winterized, as you say. I called in, spoke to a young lady. She has yet to contact any of those senior citizens. I kept a copy of that information that I sent. I sent the address, the phone number, where they can contact them, but they have not. They came and did ours, but they did not come back and complete the thermostats where you can adjust them on your phone or whatever. So through that was an issue. So I didn't know who to follow up with on that. And the next thing was, they was talking about, checking your meters on your home, and we called to get ours checked because we received a $700 bill this month. And so with that $700 bill, we called, I talked to a young lady who worked for like electricity. She told me to have them come out and check your meter because sometimes the cold weather will damage your meter and it will not work on your home. So, yeah, on the 24th, someone was supposed to come out at home all day, didn't go anywhere. No one showed up. I can see a person in the face, you know. No one showed up. Okay, so we called yesterday. They told us that no notes had been made in the thing, but a note was made saying that someone came, but he did not, whoever came didn't put anything in there. You know what I'm saying? They kept the appointment, but there was nothing put in there. So, you know, so we still, like I said, we gonna pay, but, because we gotta have lights. But that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I put a whole list of senior citizens down that needed this assistance. Yes, sir.
So, first, we're gonna get the information of everybody who needs a home audit. I've been thinking while I've been sitting here. Raise your hand if you brought your light bill with you. Okay, if you brought your light bill with you, I'm sure you wouldn't mind me taking it with me. Is that all right? All right, go pay it, bro. If you brought your light bill with you, if you brought your light bill with you, now listen to me now. If you brought your light bill with you, write your phone number and your email address on the light bill and leave it with Ms. Jones over here, and that will simplify the process of us analyzing your bill. All right? Okay. You can screenshot it and email it to that email address on that card. On that card there's got my email address on there. You can screenshot, so I'm just trying to eliminate a little of the confusion, all right? My email address is on your documentation there. If you have paperless billing, you can sit right here in the meeting, pull your light bill up, screenshot it, email it to me with your complete contact information, and that will also, and put bill analysis in the subject line. I'm just off the cuff. I should have thought of this before now, but while I was sitting here, I said, let me just expedite this process so we can move forward faster.
Thank you. Young lady, you still got a question? You still got a question? Okay, right here. Right here.
Hi, I'm Alicia Bateman Ivy, and I stay on Mount Pierce Road. I just want to say we do love our community as you see in the present here. I just feel like we don't want us to be on the back end with stuff that's later. Say, you have a bill coming in 7 months, it shouldn't be the same issues with the light bills and the infrastructure. It should be some type of changes. We have sick people, elderly. So, you know, we're here to support you guys with our feedback, but we need you to push for us as well. So I just want to see the changes and not 5 to 10 years later. Like, this is some stuff that we need to happen immediately. Like, let's get the ball rolling for $700.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get that information to the Public Service Commission and entity. You don't get that information, they can't fix it. Man in the door with the green hat. On what road?
Beeman Road.
Okay.
So 2 questions. You kept mentioning right-of-way for the power lines. What is the right-of-way for the lines that have, meaning the width? What is that width for the 3 lines, or the 3 phases, if you will, and what is it for the single phase tap?
I have no idea.
And I got to follow up with that because one of my questions have to do with on Beeman Road, that same issue continues to happen. Is that on that tap that feeds another area that goes, behind the property. Of course, trees keep falling on the line and it goes out for a while. Now, I've been blessed, I got a generator, and everybody else can't do a generator. And I had to get one because I was going through the 3 and 4 days of being without power. So my question on the length or width of the right-of-ways your vegetation management and how you go in your programs according to reliability. How often do you review how wide you're going to do your vegetation management for those right of way? And looking at reliability, like I know my circuit is one of the worst performing in the city. And what I'm just trying to say, if it's continues to be like that, that needs to be an identification of, okay, on these worst performing circuits, we need to go out wider or identify danger trees. Meaning if you come out, it's outside of the right of way, but if you see, or if the person inspects, you see that tree, all the way outside, will fall, it needs to be addressed and not fall. Because it takes a lot of time to address it, to get to it, and get the lights back on. And that's on a clear sunny day, not the winter day. And then the other question.
Hold on.
Single phase or three phase, the right of way is 30 feet,
30 feet. That's the answer to that one.
either
So
side.
15 feet either side.
That's right.
And anything outside of that is identified as a danger.
Give me your other question quick before we move on.
Smart meter implementation and application. As he said, the smart meters, how much of the smart meters that Miss Entergy Mississippi has invested in has been activated such that when new loads get connected to a transformer, that information should be, not automatic, but should be fed back to whatever platform is being done.
All right.
Such that-
Question, answer. Y'all got an answer?
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of information from the AMI meeting.
Thank y'all for coming.
And we're building programs to tell us different things. So we got, what I mentioned earlier, the program on the high voltage on transmission to replace.
Next.
There's probably, we've got a list of things that we are using some of our data scientist people to build a program to be able to use that, take that information and use it, just like you said, to be able to see a transformer might be overloaded and do something about it. So we do check percent overload on transformers, and so if it's over a certain percent loaded, then that's another thing we should be, we could do that. We have that in place now, but the AMI meters are giving us a lot more data to be able to take that and use it.
Thank you. Ms. Washington.
My name is Cheryl Washington, and we live off Sharon Road. I have a comment and then a quick question. Since the customer service person is here, I just wanted to say there is a problem with customer service. There is a big problem with customer service. You know, we do love our community, we purchase and we love our homes. And I just wanted to say, even in the summertime, I'm always getting, while I'm at work, getting notices of outages. And is there any way to collect data for our area to tell you how much we're being out of power? And to speak to the compensation issue, can we work toward doing something? Because we know if we don't pay our light bills, they're gonna cut us off. Okay, they're gonna cut us off. So just for fairness, just for customer fairness and customer satisfaction, is there anything you can do moving forward to put something in place? Just to start, is there any data, you know, to collect that data and to make sure that we're getting rebates or credits or something to compensate for the hours that we're out of power in a year? Because it's a lot for rural areas, for our area, it's a lot.
You got an answer?
Well, I really don't have an answer as far as compensation. We're not able to compensate. But Adam, as he mentioned, we are taking the data, we are looking at your history on outages, and it is part of our superpower plan, and we are looking to make any improvements from a reliability standpoint. But unfortunately, if you're without power, we want your lights on, I assure you, okay? But other than that, we aren't able to compensate. But if I can help answer any questions, customer service, when you say there's an issue, talk to me, let me know what that is, and I will be glad to follow up on that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, going here to this corner, then you next, Mr. Garrett.
Okay, Laura Davis, Robinson Road. Okay, my issue, well, I guess I could say concern too, is that, when they said they changed out the, meter over to digital, they said that it would be more actual on rate and the voltage usage, okay? Because it was only me living in my house, but, and I felt like my bill was still high, and it was just me, and I was disconnecting everything other than what I really, really need. So, and this went on back and forth. Then I moved out of town, and my bill was still the same. I didn't unplug everything except for the deep freezer and the refrigerator. And I was still getting the same bill. I would call, and then, they would give me some excuse. And then I just asked her, is there a flat rate then that I could just pay just for having the service? She couldn't give it to me. She said she'll get back with me, which I never heard anything back from anyone. Okay, at that point, 4 years later, same high bills, I'm still paying it. Like someone said, you don't want your service cut off, because then they talk about reconnect fee and all this, you know. And so I went on and paid it up until November. November was the last time I paid a bill, and then the next thing I know, I go over to the house and everything is cut off. And so, and I addressed that because you never addressed the high bill. And when I was gone 5 years, when I say in 4 years, I never slept in that house, not one night. But they kept giving me this high bill all the time. And then, so I just didn't pay it. I said, I'm gonna stop paying, so mine is cut off. But in the meantime, things did change because I was with my mother, and I'm more of a caregiver over there. So that's the reason why in the last year, I hadn't been at the house. But I would go over there, you know, once or twice a week, and, you know, just check on things. Everything was unplugged except because they told me it was high because of everything plugged up, but I unplugged everything except for 2 items. The refrigerator and
All right, we got you. Y'all got any answer to that? You just need to get up. Make it short. Everybody got a question.
on my bill, also I was paying for a nightlight that was $20-some. It have not, it was something wrong.
You're paying for what now? Security light, okay.
It's dark out there where I'm located, because I still wanted that so the neighbor could, you know, kind of monitor the house. They still charge me $20 every month for 4 years, and it has not been on.
Talk to her right there, Miss Davis.
And I asked somebody, they said they can't go back for a year. They said they can't go back.
Miss Davis, talk to her. Mr. Garrett, I thought y'all were together. But go ahead, Mr. Garrett.
John Garrett, 554 Fluid Road. I want to shift gears. This question for you and Mr. Stanton. I want to talk about this life Bible talk about.
What do you say?
Say that again. You talking about what? Cyber. Okay, go ahead.
All right, okay, all right.
I understood you said this area up here, what did you say, a fifth of that money? Did you not say that?
You got 5 supervisor districts.
I know, so that's 20, that just saves 100 million, and that's 20 million for this area, right? Am I right? So if it's divided equally with all his bills, why is it that he gets less, or he don't get what he needs for somebody else? Because you said that. Paul said he had to get 2 trucks, but we're gonna figure out where we're gonna get the money from to get somebody to do the work. So my question is, though, if it's equally split, why is it that Paul has to have this issue?
Let me hear Paul.
Let me ask you on some on the first. On that equally split, it goes into several different departments. All that money don't go into a road department. It goes into your sheriff's department that happen to be 1/5 of mine. It goes into funding all your other departments. Correct me if I'm wrong, public safety officer.
But the other four get the same amount, right?
The other one supposed to get the same amount. But we're in a unit system, and 3 votes take that money anywhere, and you could not get any if 3 votes take it somewhere else. But I'm planning on being in that 3 votes to take it up here with us and more. Go ahead.
All right, let me back him up just a little bit. Now, I done got beat up a lot over the years trying to get my slice of the pie for my ward in Jackson. All right? Now, when he down there getting beat up because he trying to fight for pie, he need y'all to be just as mad in that moment supporting him as you are with your light bill with him. Because one of the loneliest things it is as an elected official is you out there fighting and giving all you got. And they get to talk about you, they bring up stuff in your past, they do all kinds of stuff and they talk about you. And don't nobody stand up and say, well, his sins are between him and God. His service is between him and us. And we're here for his service. And the greater service that Madison County is supposed to provide to his district. So now, when he down there trying to fight for some pie, because I heard some dust up a couple months ago about some road money. Huh?
Yeah.
Did I hear somebody some road money?
We got our piece of pie.
All right.
And somebody else.
So all I'm saying is, when don't show up on the back end. The reason you here now, I'm about 4 months late, all right? But I had a car accident. I had to get some stuff taken care of. But the reason you here now is because we're incorporating your concerns in the planning process, not after. You hear your concerns are being incorporated in the baking of the pie. Okay? So I'm inviting y'all to the baking of the pie, so you ain't got to fight for the pie. You baked in.
Get that lady
all right?
to the left.
Lady to the left. Yes, sir.
I went down point finger, that's my classmate, that's my brother.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, we need to hear this. And
Right.
get clarity so that I can't say what I just said if I hadn't done my part on the other end.
That's right.
So we all have a part to play.
Right. Right. When it's time to slice the pie, they have budget hearings at the county, and they are going round and round over the ingredients to the pie. I'm a believer that if you bake your ingredients in the pie, like I'm doing with you, so when they go back to bake the pie, I ain't got to fight for no slice because my pie is already baked in. All right? Lady in the corner over here.
Early up.
What you got, baby? Uh-huh.
What are we gonna do about our bills when we not able to pay?
All right. Now, there is one glaring problem that we have in the state. Remember, I talked before that it's 2 things you need for effective governance. You need effective governance and economies of scale. Now, Mississippi is 55,000 housing units short. So part of the pie that need to be baked in all of Mississippi, specifically in your district, is you need more users on the system. What that look like? That looks like high-density housing for seniors, because if you're on fixed income, it's cheaper for a senior citizen. This is what I heard. Now, I'm not a senior citizen, but a lot of my senior citizens tell me that they want better housing that's more energy efficient and their grandchildren can't come live with them. That's just what they told me.
Amen.
Okay? So I'm a proponent of senior citizen apartments for senior citizens to live in, that's more energy efficient, and if you're on a fixed income, all of your utilities and rent can be baked in, and it can be affordable for you. And that's one thing that can be done in your county. So if he's pushing for more housing in his area to be constructed so his citizens can live in out of the Amazon pie, that's what that means. That means housing and more users on the system so you can stabilize what you have to pay for. I know. That's why a portion of your pie need to go towards housing. We are not building enough housing for young people. That's why they leave. We're not building enough housing for senior citizens. That's why you're living most of the times in energy inefficient housing, because it was built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s and not been built in a way where it saves money. Yes. If you do not pay your light bill, your lights will be cut off.
I got it. If you qualify, you go to Madison County Citizen Service Agency.
Right.
They will help you with your bill.
Hold. I got one more thing. Hold on. I got one, but this Saturday, Ms. Jones, what time is that energy?
It's from 9 until 1.
Stand up. Come on over here. Come over here. This Saturday, we have a energy efficiency blitz. All right? Ms. Jones, could you express to them what that is, what time, and where they can come to get assistance in paying the bill?
Good evening.
You can talk right a bit.
Okay. On Saturday, which is February the 28th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Salvation Army. I don't know the exact address, but it is on Beasley Road, right next to McDonald's. If you would, bring your driver's license and a copy of your bill. The wait will be long, so you will need to have some patience. But if you will bring your bill and your driver's license, they will try to provide payment assistance for you.
Is that whether you live in Madison County or not?
It doesn't matter. Madison, Hines. This Saturday at the Salvation Army on Beasley Road, right next to the McDonald's. From 9 a.m. to 1.
All right, so this Saturday from 9 to 1, there's utility bill assistance for Entergy. In a few weeks, there will be a gas bill assistance program, and that's why the sign-in sheet's important, because we send this stuff out once a month of the ways that we help your county make money and we help you save money. So again, this Saturday, utility bill assistance for those who need assistance in paying their utility bill. And there is enough money in the pot to assist everybody who shows up. Now, they're not gonna pay your whole bill, but everybody will get assistance in paying a bill that shows up.
All right. You coming next. Lady back in blonde hair. I can't see that far. It look blonde. Go ahead. Okay.
I want to first give Mr. Powell Griffin his kudos with this high-speed internet out here.
Amen.
I want Entergy to know that it's life-saving, just as much as our lights is needed out here, that internet, because without it, we can't call 911 sometimes. Because when the lights go out, we have no usage of the phone. And that still exists today. So that's why there's this need for the lights and this technology and to stay online and for things for us to have these necessities. It is really needed out here. And this meeting tonight, thank you so much, Mr. Griffin. But the issue that I'm having is a transformer issue. The main Entergy's primary line it is, your primary pole does not sit on 43 on the right of way. It does not sit on the public road right of way. It's in my yard. 70 feet from my residence.
Come on, Ms. Johnson, get over your address and everything. And while I go over here to Will, the Public Service Commission talk about housing. Before we can get housing, we got to have public sewage.
That's right.
And that's what your supervisor been fighting for, is to get public sewage out in this rural area. Then we can get housing. Then we can get the multifamily home. But you got to have public sewage. Will.
Natural gas. Propane, I know the electricity's bad, but propane's bad too. How are y'all working on that?
Hey, all right.
Sewage, Paul's talking about, you got that.
Yeah. Okay. So his question is about natural gas expansion.
Yes.
Now, I'm a big proponent of natural gas because if you live in the country, if your lights go out, you still got to have heat. You still got to stay warm. And natural gas provides the ability to do that. If the lights go out, I still want to be able to take a shower. I still want to be able to, take a bath. I still want to be able to cook dinner and so forth, right? So natural gas expansion is very important, and it's an issue that I'm pushing for. I don't mind raising rates to extend gas service because what it does is you'll raise the rates for the first 3 years, but then after that you stabilize the rate because you have more users on the system because you've stretched service out to get to other areas. The only people that may have a problem with that is the people who sell the propane. But it's a need for all of it. It's a need for all of it. And lastly, before we leave natural gas, a lot of people talk about Generacs. I don't want everybody to go out there and spend $10,000 on a Generac. $12,000 on a Generac. And it's on propane. I want to get your service reliable first to not to do that, but then also there are other solutions out there. For $3,000 to $5,000, you can have a battery system in your house. And in my house, I got a Jackery battery system in there. So when the lights go out, they just flip the switch. And while my lights was on, it's charged the battery up. And that thing can last for about 5 days. And I don't have to buy any gas for it. It's not. It's called Jackery. It's a home battery system out there. It's the whole house. All right. Okay. So there are other solutions than a generator. All right. There's battery. So you can. Some folks get a couple solar panels and put on the roof that's connected to a battery. So when the lights go out, they just roll over and keep on kicking. So I don't want everybody to go out there and spend major money when there are other solutions that you can decide on that may be useful for your house.
What about the natural gas?
Now the natural gas, yes, I'm a big proponent of natural gas expansion, and as much as we can do that, we'll pursue doing it.
Have you got some people working on it?
Most definitely, most definitely. We were supposed to have somebody from Delta Utilities here. They came and left, but we're gonna get that taken care of.
They came and left.
We're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it.
We wouldn't put a roadblock up
I'm working on some issues. All right? So just like you working on issues, I'm working on issues too. Yeah. So there's several companies. Anchor has a battery system, but you can go home and just Google home battery systems, and then there's several companies that have those services that are out there. I know a lot of people, want a generator system, but you still got to pay for if you don't have natural gas, now you're paying for propane, and that's even more expensive than natural gas. So I want you to look at all the solutions. I'm not telling you which one to choose, but you can look at one that's best for your pocketbook.
Mr. Cole.
I am George Cole, I'm on Way Road. My concern is I have properties where no one lives there. I heard David said a minute ago. And those properties, that property, nothing is hooked up, but maybe like I don't understand. Help me understand.
All right, so that's what's called a bill analysis. And let's sit down and take a look at what you got going on. We have a customer service representative here from Energy, and we have our investigators as well. So between the customer service representative and our investigators, we can take a look at those issues when it comes to your bill and why it may fluctuate in a residence that has no usage.
Reverend Page.
My name is Alan Page, 5551 Highway 51. Again, thank you, good for having energy out tonight. Like I say, I have 2 brands on auction machine that they use. It's electric. But energy, I think it was about 4 trucks come out during the time of the storm. And I think I'm not sure exactly how long they stayed down there. And I just walked down to see what was going on. And it was just a little small tree on the line down there. I know Energy have contractors come out and remove trees, but yeah, my bill is high, but I really wasn't concerned about the bill. I'm more concerned about trying to keep my grandbabies breathing. And so what is the time frame? Because when you call, it's like, you get a whole lot of feedback from, you really don't need to be called. We understand that the line is down, but yeah, you have trucks in here. And I'm not sure how long they sit there. I think probably close to 2 or 3 hours. Close to that. And I mean, I think it was 4 trucks. I know I seen 3. Why?
He finna respond.
Yeah, let me get this.
Yeah,
When y'all get ready to
right. Yeah. I would say this, depending on, I know the tree, so some of our safety rules say that we have to isolate it on either end before somebody can touch the tree. So that could have prolonged it. If there's people sitting there, a lot of times they're on the phone with a dispatcher, they're on the phone writing switching orders in the truck, trying to isolate it so that they can remove it. Sometimes it may be a tree trimmer. So if a tree trimmer comes out there and they don't have an insulated boom, then they can't actually boom up and cut that tree off the line until a line crew comes and grounds it first. So, yeah. Yeah, it kind of depends on the damage, honestly, but ideally we're gonna try to get it as soon as we can, but I know there's some safety situations where we can't go to work as soon as we want to go to work, because we got to switch it around a little bit first.
All right, y'all two done had a question. I'm gonna go to the lady right there that hadn't had a question. Yeah.
Sheila Cole Johnson, I'm on Mountfield Road. We kind of sandwiched between Lauren and Camden Road and Stump Bridge. They have lights all the time. When the lights go out, it's only our road. And what's being said is that it's the transformer, more so than it is any type of tree fill. So this is Mountfield Road, and if it's cloudy, if we just get a good wind, they're out. But those other 2 roads that sandwich us, they are always on. One has the school, of course, so we understand that's probably just the Lauren Road side. But across the 4-way stop, Camden has Camden Road more times than we do.
Come out of picking. Major.
Bullet climb. My problem is you gotta cut the trees on the line, but you leave them where you come. I gotta clean them up.
Yeah. So in other words, y'all need to get on your contract.
Yeah, that's right, because they're supposed to, cut and then
Move this debris out of these people's yards. Ms. Doris.
My name is Doris Sutherland, I'm a resident in lot of things I want to do. But, my problem, and I'm so glad that we're in this meeting, because my lights have been going out for years, and I'm like this young lady right here. The people across the street, and I'm on Lauren Road and Rocky Hill.
Rocky Hill.
I'm on the other side of the road, Lauren Road, they have lights. But my lights go out all the time, and I don't know why. I don't see any trees or anything. There's no trees, no line, and they'll pop on maybe 3 or 4 hours, but it happens a lot. So I want to know why does it happen. I think Ozzy, my brother-in-law, that's one of the concerns he had since he's been down here, is that our neighbors across the road, they got lights and we don't have lights.
You said Rocky Hill Road?
They intersection, Rocky Hill and Lauren Road.
Spill it.
Loring. All right. Gentleman with the hat on.
Yes, Terrence Griffin again at Beaman Road, and I do want to open up, and I appreciate NGG. I appreciate what you all do in making sure that we have some of the lowest prices in the country. So I appreciate that, and I know there's a balance. You can build a Cadillac, you got to pay for a Cadillac. So I appreciate the fact that you all are pretty conscious of making sure that you're giving us the best service or a service without paying our rates so much. Because I do talk to friends and so forth in other parts of the country, and they're pale in comparison. So I appreciate that.
Got a question? I'm gonna go. All right.
Your bill is lower than Louisiana, Alabama.
What is your investment in improving information coming out of your farm center? Because again,
Not since the nuclear
my
plant.
days,
Not since they built those nuclear plants.
and you call in, and I know it's the price.
Yeah, they just built last year, not since then.
You're contracting that out. But the information coming out, because if we have better information that allows us without power, we can better prepare for that. And so they'll tell me 10 o'clock in the morning, your lights be on, let's say 8 o'clock this evening. However, I call it 10 o'clock that evening, and they're still telling me the same thing. I'm like, okay, we need some improvement in the information that's going back to the phone centers so that you can tell the customers. So
Go get her his information.
and handling that and not giving us stale information.
Okay.
That's very frustrating.
Okay, well, I'm going to come to you directly. The only thing I would like to add with you saying that, please be sure everyone has our app on your iPhones, your cell phones. Download the Entergy app. It is wonderful. It's wonderful for reporting street lights out, for getting information on outages. But you and I will talk directly, but I just wanted to mention that to everyone. Thank you.
Preacher. Fleming.
Paul Fleming, Reverend Paul Fleming, Lauren Road. And this question is for you, Supervisor. We thank you for this meeting. Once again, thank you for Infinity. Is there an economic plan to bring businesses to our area? I'm a young person. I'm 49. A lot of young people I talk to that left here, the number one thing I always hear is, we don't even have a gas station, Paul. We don't have a grocery store, we don't have anything. Why should we move back out there in Madison County? Why should we come back out there? So we don't have anything. So is there an economic plan, or y'all working on an economic plan to bring more businesses, a gas station or something here, so we can start bringing back new homes and start bringing in more people, more younger people to move in our community?
All right, I'm gonna give you a quick answer on that.
Yes, sir.
Because this is about utility, but I will give you a quick answer.
Yes, sir.
Your economic development plan, whatever, depend on public sewage.
Gotcha.
It was internet and public sewage.
Gotcha.
Now it's public sewage.
Okay.
Somebody had a question right over here.
That go back to slicing the pie for public sewage in your area.
Yes, yes. Coming back to you now, behind you. Tracy.
Yeah, I'm Tracy and Go. Mom lives on Rocky Hill Road as you know. The light, on a perfect day, 85 degrees, light just go out in the middle of the day for no reason. Can someone on Rocky Hill Road to find out why there are so many outages? But I can't take a generator over there every time those lights go out, every other week or every so often. It's too frequent that it goes out. Rocky Hill Road.
Can you come see me whenever we get done, or right now?
Sister, Ernestine.
I just want to say
So
True.
right now, we have to deal with what we got, because we're out here in the rural area, and all we asking you guys is to just have mercy on us, and give us a better rate, instead of charging us all these high prices. You know, these people in this township cannot afford those rates. It's very difficult. They can barely stock food. And right now, what we need to do is try to pull together and make things better for
All of us, yeah.
the town. And yes, it is a monopoly.
Let me address the issue. Let me address the issue. That's why we got to build more high-density housing, because we have a declining population. In Mississippi, we only have 3 million people in the entire state, and that number's going down. We need that number to go up. Our utility rate in Mississippi is one thing, but our utility customers are going down, so you got less people to pay more bills. And so now what you pay is more, but the rate you pay is less, but what you pay ends up being more because you got less users on the system. That's why when I say economies of scale, and how when he says, well, that means, thank y'all for coming. I know it's been a long meeting. We finna go, I promise you. But I want to make sure that issues get somewhat, not addressed, but heard. But we got to build more housing to get more users on all our systems, because when you cross a certain age, your property taxes level out at 70,000. So there's several issues that happen when you do not have enough housing in the community. There's less people to pay the bills.
Yeah, you're right. Mr. Townsend. Hold up, hold up.
What's your concern, brother?
We got a lot more concerns.
Okay. Okay. You can tell me that concern. Who's your water provider?
East Madison.
Okay. What's your issue?
Hold up, guys. Let's hear the question. Wait a minute. Say that again.
All right. So do you have a bill with you? Okay. Screenshot the bill, bring it over here to Ms. Jones, and let me take a look at this $2,500 water bill. And I don't regulate your water, but I know who do. So,
Roy, coming back to you, Roy. Hold up, we still want everybody to be heard now.
Yeah, this is very important. We're concerned about these natural gas stuff. Okay, we got Texas energy, gas line.
Transfer line, yeah.
And they're coming right through the property. So they out here selling, gas line bills for people, want to join the natural gas line when it comes through. So what do you guys have to do with that?
all right. So, what we do when it comes to natural gas, you can sit down, brother.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying because
I'm gonna ask you a question.
It's coming right through my property.
Okay.
And they asked, I'm asking you when you mentioned natural gas.
Right.
They had come to my property and asked, do you know how many people you can get connected
Correct.
to
Right.
natural gas?
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. All right. His question is about natural gas expansion. Now, when it comes to natural gas expansion, I'm in support of that. But what that's going to look like in the first 3 years of natural gas expansion, they ask how many people will sign up for it. So when we have that conversation, we're going to need everybody to not just say, I want to do it, but do it, all right? Not just sign a petition, because that's going to increase everybody's bill for the first 3 years, and then it's going to level out. So when we start getting into natural gas expansion, that's what that will look like, and you'll see things coming in your mail and in your community. People knock on your door and ask you, about signing up for natural gas expansion through your natural gas company. Again, who you purchase your gas from already, and that's just an issue we deal with. But when that happens, that's what it looks like. And you said they asked you how many people would sign up for it. Because the more people that sign up for it, then the easier it will be to get it done. But running natural gas lines and raising everybody across Mississippi's bill, if we run the lines, but people don't actually sign up to do it, now you've spent this money to run all these gas lines everywhere, and then you don't have the users to take care of it. So that's a serious conversation that's going to take a commitment from those who are willing to do that. Now, on your side, do not sign up for natural gas expansion if you're not willing to retrofit your appliances to get the services in your house. Because people will easily sign up the petition, but you're going to have to go in and pay for the upgrades to your stove, to your situation that's behind the meter so you can receive the gas. So if you're not serious, okay, all right, that's the issue. That's the issue. But when that time comes,
let me get the guy to do it, and then we'll come back.
What I was trying to get to, in the rural area, just like you said, they need more housing.
correct.
Right now in the rural.
That's why the first target your supervisor mentioned is when you see him down at the supervisor's office talking about what his area needs and what he wants to pursue with his slice of the pie, it may not look like the road. It may not look like some other investments you see in other areas. If you see him saying, I want sewage, that means should trigger to you, since we've been in this planning meeting, that, hey, when he says sewage, that means it's gonna solve the housing issue and more businesses in your area, and it may not, you may have other needs at that moment. So when you see him fighting for sewage, that's the solution to that issue, to solve the bigger problem, to get to the lower problem. It makes sense, everybody?
Yes. Yeah. All right. Got with it.
Now we got
whoever it is.
We got a few more minutes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you so much for internet, sir. It is a wonder out here, and I'm so glad you fought for it like you did. I'm following up Mr. Douglas because we know a little bit about the Enbridge energy that they've been talking, and they've been talking to a number of landowners here. Isn't now the time to be talking about that, since they are talking about their expansion, and it should be incorporated for the people in this community?
Yeah. Let me say this, Commissioner. What going on, if you don't know, Texas Eastern is looking to replace some of their pipe. And it's running through northeast Madison County. It's running through some of the Douglas, the Conway, the Robinson, and probably the Martin's property. They asked him for additional right-of-way and all other things. I don't know, is it where they looking to ask to get more people on that to get gas, they hadn't reached out to the outer community. They got to reach out to the outer community and ask those questions.
All right. So now, in these multi-billion-dollar expansions for natural gas, the more taps you get negotiated in your community, the more expansion possibility you will have in the future. You may not use all of them immediately, but by having the taps negotiated in, especially among your major thoroughfares, that opens those major thoroughfares up to economic development and higher density housing, so they can get to the lower density housing residential areas. So as what they're saying when they ask about more users and people who want to get the service, that's the part of that negotiation.
But that's what I'm asking. Are they asking in our community right now? Because when we were presented stuff, even this past week, they talk about taking necessarily talking about people in our community.
Right.
That's why I wonder, is this really the right time to talk to them? That's just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, to get that tap, definitely.
Most definitely, because when people are asking you for something, is the time you ask them for something. Because they want right away.
Yeah, yeah.
They can't get what they want unless you give them right away. So that means that don't just give me a check. We don't want to be those people who just take a check, right? We want to be the people that, yes, take a check, but also feed your community long term and put things in place that help us grow 50 and 100 years from now. So to answer his question, when they ask you about your right of way, say, I want expansion I would take a lesser check and more expansion to my commercial and residential area in my community versus just take, because they'll say, I'll give you more check. No, I don't want more check.
We want tap.
I want tap. So that I can have a 4-inch line, a 6-inch line coming down my major thoroughfares, and then as you build more housing, single family and multifamily, you can have access to the services you need to do that. All right, we're gonna round it. I done had energy here 2.5 hours, so we're gonna take a few more questions and let them go home, and then we're gonna move forward.
All right. I just got handed a note. Okay, got handed a note. If you got butane and you get natural gas, it gonna have to be repiped.
That's right.
Repiped, that's an expense that you'll be out of. So keep that in mind. Who had one? Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Fanny Sanders on Morgan Road, and my question is, how do y'all, I heard you talk about cutting the trees, how do y'all determine whether the trees is on your private property or if the trees is from the entity?
You talking about the entity? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the 15-foot either side of the line, so it's a 30-foot right of way. And then if the tree is growing within the 30-foot, if the trunk of the tree is within the 30-foot, that we're considering that something we would cut as a cycle tree. It's possible that the overhang of the tree that's outside of the right of way could affect our line. And that would also be, we have these things called, they're called a giraffe, basically. It's a big old machine with a big old saw that goes way up in the air, and it'll trim those overhanging limbs off of those trees. So that is part of our cycle trim plan. When we come through and cycle trim, they're cutting the edges of those limbs that are outside the right of way. But we're not taking those trees down.
Because see, back in 2022, I had a whole tree to fall on me driving home. I'm driving my car and the whole tree fell, so I'm trying to figure out, you know, how do y'all determine that, or whose fault was it? Because when I called, they said it was at the nature.
That is on the road?
I was coming down Lauren Road, yeah.
Okay, so the tree was in the road right away?
No, the tree fell down on my car. It was standing and fell on my car.
In your driveway?
No, driving down.
Down
the
Lauren
highway.
Road.
Driving down the highway?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Driving home.
That's a road right away.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the right
Road
of way.
right of way.
That's the right of way on the road,
Okay.
not the power line.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the question.
That's the road right of way.
Mr. Henry.
You call my name, everybody knows that.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, my question is, I appreciate y'all for coming. I said, so a lot of my questions have already been answered.
There you go.
So I would like to ask you this. Now, I have a generator, portable generator, you know, to the side. And like I said, a lot of people just wasn't able, you know, to get one. But I wonder if you could come up with something, maybe some kind of voucher. Maybe to look into this, maybe that people that not able, y'all can come up with something that, I'm not trying to tell you that they would get your whole generator, maybe they get paid so much, and then they could go to the store with some kind of voucher to help them get a generator. Cause, you know, me and my wife, we did pretty good. I'm glad I had one. If I hadn't, she's been very upset, but we were able to get TV.
You got to take care of home.
And big freezers on, you know. But we was kind of like the headlights and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I was thinking of the one that, you know, I'm good, but I'm thinking of the one that didn't have.
Yeah.
So I said, maybe y'all can get together and talk about some kind of voucher for these people that don't have this, you know, to kind of help them out some. You know, I know that's not part of y'all.
No, it is, it is.
You know,
So,
something to be looked into.
so, now, I don't wish bad on nobody, but this storm helped us come up with a few solutions. There are generator rental businesses that rent generators for $60 a day. And I'm talking about the big one, all right? I'm not saying everybody can afford that, but if your lights are only out for a day or so, couple days, there are those places to rent generators from. I know there's two right there on 49, right in Flora, right where that Dollar General is right there as you go into Yazoo City. And then there's another one right down from there where they rent generators by the day. So in times of where it's crisis like that, people won't need a $1,000 generator, you know, to be able to go buy it. But if they can use something like that, that may be a solution for that.
Well, if it's icy, they can't get there.
I got you. But where there's a will, there's a way. Because me and my Ford Ranger was all over this daggum state to solve that problem. But you're right, having access to a generator, but then there's a community issue. One thing that we also learned during this storm was that we have to save ourselves. The federal government's not coming to save us, okay? And in many issues, the state government may not have the resources to come save us.
You know, one thing I was saying, you know, something that maybe you can look into and think about, maybe.
Right.
What I did, my generator, I bought it maybe about 3 years ago with a help. I started buying it with a help. I bought one and that I did. But as I checked and looked at some of these though, I don't know whether the price scanner or what, but they really generators up.
Yeah, they do, they do. And so,
They need some help, you know, and they need help.
yeah, you're right.
The price that jumped up on, you know, it should be that way.
And I don't know if Energy know or not, but do you all have a payment plan on a generator?
For a generator?
Yes.
We do not.
You don't?
We did not.
Okay. Yeah, go Miss Stairwood. They'll be coming back there.
Say that road again real quick.
I'm James Edwards. I'm at 300 Ben Lucky Road.
Been lucky.
I just have a quick question, and this is maybe information for everyone that's here tonight. The solar panels that they have constructed and finished on Highway 43, south of Canton, is that something that will affect our utilities as far as maybe industry collaborating with them, and we get a discount or something?
All right, so you may have seen in the news a couple months ago where some people were mad at me because I approved a 7,000-acre solar farm in Hinds County. And there's some folks out there who are against solar. Now me, I'm for everywhere we can produce some power. One of the things that we learned during this winter storm is the storm was so bad that those big heavy-duty lines hit the ground. And you couldn't get power from the big places that are producing the power somewhere else. But solar is like booster cables. Your car does not need booster cables to run. It's not the motor, it's not the transmission, it's not the battery. But when you need them, you need them. And when the ice was everywhere and you couldn't get the power from somewhere else, it would have been so nice to have a couple thousand acres of solar over there producing some power to backfeed the system until they got it up and running. So now some people changing their mind about supporting solar. Because you should never turn utilities partisan. The reason why I had to get the heck out of the legislature is because I'm not a good politician or Democrat, Republican. No. Utilities shouldn't be political.
People.
It should be about serving people. And so some folks have taken solar and making it a political thing. It's an energy production thing. And you don't need it till you need it.
So that's going to be like a backup system?
Correct. And now, it also helps in those hours between 2 and 6 where your demand spikes. but that's the time when the sun's the brightest. So you can produce a little more power. So now you can offset some of those daily costs, but then when you have solar plus battery storage in your area, now when you got a storm and you can't get the power from way off, you got enough power that's already being produced that's stored in batteries that can still pump power throughout the grid. So it's just like booster cables. You don't need them until you need them. And so I'm a supporter of solar. I have not denied any solar operation to come to my district because I like booster cables in times of tragedy. I hope that answers your question.
A little right on the point of that solar, well, on 43. I support solar, but I wish I hadn't supported that one on 43. Reason why, because homes could have been built there. Because right on the other side of those woods is Yandell Road where they flood with homes. They would have came right on through there and built those homes out there on 43. That's the only reason I wished I hadn't supported that solar panel at that location.
The location is important.
Yeah. So what now?
Who owns the solar panel on 43?
Whoever that solar panel company is, I just remember who it is.
So they're not connected to entity?
Entity might be buying the power.
They're connected to the grid, and so there could be situations where, kind of as Commissioner Stamps talked about, where as far as you think of on the transmission system, think of that as the interstate, and so they're putting that power on the interstate. It very well may be, well, that's cheaper for us to buy than to crank up one of our units, and so it's out there, and it does in some way, it will come back and be used for us at different periods of time or others. But we don't own it, or we don't necessarily have a purchase power agreement with that facility, but it's connected to our transmission system, so we can all benefit from it.
All right, listen, I know you got one more question, but two more questions. Before everybody leave out, just pass the word to the one that's already gone. We thank you for coming out. This is the way to show your elected official, your power provider, that you are concerned about your community by coming out, showing up. And you showed up tonight. So give yourself a round of applause. One question now, then we going back to that young lady back there. We gonna close it out, preacher. Deacon.
This, I guess to me, this probably be an important question everyone here is concerned about being happy here. But I heard nobody ask the question, how much are we paying per kilowatt hour for the electricity that we use?
The cents per kWh, it's around, for a residential customer, around 16 cents.
16 cents?
Yes, sir. Below the national average, yes, sir.
Okay.
You lay it back in the back.
Mary Lou Robinson Road. Issue I have is, trimming the trees. And somebody spoke about, cutting trees out, hanging over the road. But when that issue came up, they said I didn't know what side it was on, whose property it belonged to. Okay, my issue is, they have permission to come on your private property and cut your trees, the limbs off the trees. Who give them that permission?
Oh, right away.
Yeah. They more likely is a right of way always that already through there that been approved years back, might have been before you got that property, that it been approved. That's why they come through there and not ask you for your permission, because the right of way is already there. Same way, that right of way probably go right through your yard.
Right there inside my house. And they come and cut the limbs off that tree. Right there beside my house.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody asked me permission to do this, but when they did, it went back around that, and they cut on one side. And I asked them not to do that anymore. I told them, don't come back like that.
Y'all got her information, right? She already got your information, ma'am.
They left the limbs there for 2 months. I had to keep calling them to come pick up the limbs.
Thank y'all.
Hold on, we're gonna pray our way out of here.
Yes. So, Deacon,
Let me just say
he
one
about
thing.
to went to sleep.
All right. I just want to say thank y'all for coming out tonight. I appreciate your time and attention. Give Energy a round of applause for coming out as well. It is 8:30 at night. It's not in their job description, but they are always responsible. We appreciate it. We appreciate our office, Ms. Andrea Jones and Ms. Elizabeth Blankshire. And again, we're in this together. And we're going to keep plugging away until we get our system to where we want it to be. All right?
Get ready. 8 or 9 months from now, we'll be coming back.
And give your supervisor a round of applause, too, for staying home until we got it done.
Let us pray.
All right, y'all, settle down.
Let us pray.
Settle down.
Father God, we thank you for this meeting. We thank you for the opportunity to come out and express ourselves as a community. We thank you for our elected officials coming out, as well as our vendors. Now we ask for traveling grace as we go back home. Just keep us safe in a mighty way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Good beat, guys. Lord.